Mobile Legends has always been a 5-player game, but every international tournament reminds us of one uncomfortable truth. Sometimes one player ends up carrying the hopes of an entire organization. At MSC 2026, the level of competition has never been higher. Yet, there are still stars whose performances can completely change a series. When they're locked in, their team suddenly looks like a championship contender. But if they're having an off day, even the strongest roster can see its title dreams disappear before the grand finals are ever in sight. Welcome back to Mobile Legends News. MSC 2026 brings together the strongest teams from every major mlbb region under the new international ecosystem, making this arguably the deepest and most competitive mid-season cup yet. Every qualified roster has proven it can dominate its home region, meaning teamwork, preparation, and adaptation will matter more than ever. Even so, some players have become the centerpiece of everything their teams do, whether it's their mechanical brilliance, leadership in high-pressure moments, or ability to create game-winning plays. These individuals often define their team's identity. Today we're taking a closer look at the players carrying the biggest expectations at MSC 2026, and why their performances could determine who lifts the trophy. Before we start naming players, it's important to answer one question. What does it actually mean to carry a team at the highest level of Mobile Legends? Some fans immediately think about highlight plays, savage moments, huge damage numbers, MVP medals. While those are certainly part of the conversation, carrying a team at an international tournament like MSC goes far beyond statistics. The best teams in the world are simply too coordinated for one player to win every game through mechanics alone. Every roster at MSC qualified by defeating elite regional competition, and every coaching staff has spent weeks preparing for specific opponents. That means true impact often comes from the decisions a player makes before the fight even starts. Sometimes the player carrying a team is the one making every major call around objectives. Sometimes it's the player whose hero pool completely changes the draft. Other times it's the player who quietly delivers elite performances every single series without attracting the same attention as the flashy stars. At this level, carrying is about responsibility. Who receives the resources? Who is trusted with the final team fight? Who dictates the tempo? Who remains calm when a game reaches the 20-minute mark? Who can consistently outperform another world-class opponent? Those are the questions that define a true international carry. One of the clearest examples heading into MSC 2026 is Team Liquid PH's gold laner, Teddy Cutie. After earning his place in the starting lineup, Teddy Cutie has continued to prove that he belongs among the world's elite marksmen. Rather than simply acting as a late-game insurance policy, he has become one of the team's primary win conditions. Team Liquid PH has always been known for disciplined macro, objective control, and coordinated team fighting. But Teddy Cutie gives that structure an incredibly reliable source of damage in every stage of the game. His biggest strength isn't necessarily explosive highlight reels, but it's consistency. Across long tournament runs, consistency is often more valuable than occasional brilliance. Championship teams need players who can perform against every opponent, every draft, and every level of pressure. Teddy Cutie has repeatedly shown the patience to farm efficiently and position to survive difficult team fights, and the confidence to capitalize when opportunities finally appear. That makes him one of the biggest players to watch throughout MSC. Indonesia also arrives with multiple stars capable of carrying their respective teams. Historically, Indonesian teams have never lacked mechanical talent. Their best players are known for aggressive skirmishing, creative outplays, and confidence in individual matchups. At MSC 2026, several of those stars will once again shoulder enormous expectations. What's interesting is that many Indonesian carries influence games long before the scoreboard reflects it. Their pressure forces early rotations, draws jungle attention, and creates space for teammates across the map. Even if they don't finish with the highest kill count, they often are responsible for opening the opportunities that allow the rest of the team to succeed. That kind of indirect impact is easy to overlook but incredibly valuable in professional mlbb. China presents another fascinating type of carry player. Rather than relying purely on mechanical dominance, many Chinese teams thrive because of exceptional macro, understanding, and disciplined execution. The player carrying these squads may not always be the one collecting MVP awards. Instead, they often function as the strategic centerpiece who keeps every rotation synchronized. These players understand exactly when to contest objectives, when to trade resources, and when patience is more valuable than forcing a risky fight. International tournaments frequently punish impatience. One poor Lord contest, one unnecessary dive, one failed invade. Those mistakes can eliminate even championship favorites. Players who consistently avoid those errors often become the foundation of deep tournament runs. Then there are veteran leaders. Every MSC features experienced players whose greatest strength isn't mechanical speed anymore. It's decision-making under pressure. When a game reaches 30 minutes, everyone has full items. Every death matters. And thousands of fans are watching live. Nerves become a real factor. Veterans understand these situations better than almost anyone. They know how to slow the pace. They know when the opponent is becoming desperate, and they know when to gamble and when not to. Those qualities barely appear on the post-game scoreboard, but they're often the difference between winning and going home. Leadership becomes even more valuable because MSC 2026 features stronger regional diversity than ever before. Teams aren't simply playing opponents they've studied throughout a domestic season. They're facing completely different drafting philosophies, rotation patterns, and macro styles developed across multiple competitive regions. Someone has to recognize those adjustments during a series. Someone has to communicate them between games. Someone has to keep teammates composed after losing a difficult opening match. That responsibility usually falls on the players with the most experience. Of course, mechanical superstars still matter. mlbb remains a game where extraordinary execution can instantly swing momentum. A perfectly timed flicker, an incredible retribution secure, a game-changing set, a flawless marksman teamfight. Those moments can define an entire tournament. The difference is that the very best players combine elite mechanics with elite decision-making. They don't simply outplay opponents, they understand when the outplay is actually worth attempting. That's what separates international champions from domestic stars. Another important factor is draft flexibility. Some players become so influential that opposing teams spend multiple bans trying to limit their comfort picks. Others possess such deep hero pools that banning them almost becomes nearly impossible. This creates advantages before the match even begins. If your carry can confidently play nearly every meta option, your coaching staff gains enormous freedom during drafting. Your opponents are forced to make uncomfortable decisions, often allowing another dangerous hero through. That kind of flexibility becomes increasingly valuable over a long tournament where the meta continues to evolve. Ultimately, the player carrying a team isn't always the loudest, the flashiest, or even the highest scoring competitor. It's the player whose absence would fundamentally change how the team plays. The player every teammate trusts when the game is slipping away. The player opponents spend the entire week preparing for. The player expected to perform regardless of matchup, pressure, or stage. MSC 2026 is filled with incredible talent across every region, and no championship is won by one person alone. But history has consistently shown that every title-winning roster also has someone willing to shoulder extraordinary responsibility when everything is on the line. As the tournament unfolds, those players won't just be chasing individual recognition. They'll be carrying the expectations of their teammates, their organizations, and millions of fans, hoping to see them become the next international champion. Every championship contender entering MSC has at least one player carrying enormous expectations. For some, it's their unmatched mechanics that can single-handedly change a game. For others, it's their leadership, decision-making, or remarkable consistency that keeps the entire roster together under pressure. Championships are never won by one player alone, but international mlbb history has repeatedly shown that when a team's biggest star rises to the occasion, their entire campaign can be transformed. At the biggest tournament of the year, one exceptional performance may be all it takes to turn a contender into a champion. Now I want to hear from you. Which MSC 2026 player do you think is carrying the most responsibility for their team's success? Is it a superstar known for incredible mechanics, or a veteran whose leadership keeps the team together? Let us know in the comments and tell us whether individual brilliance or overall teamwork will ultimately decide this year's MSC champion. Till next time.